Disclaimer, the content in this video is purely hypothetical. Modeling clay is not an accurate representation of human skin. Okay, this is 0.25, it's at 1.6 joules. Okay, I'll stop there, just one. You can see 1.594 and a 0.25. We're going to switch it to 0.4s. Put it right there, line it up with a new spot. Or we use a 0.4. Okay, there's a 0.4 at 1.608. You see the two hits here. They do have a difference in how deep they went. Let's measure it using this caliper here, the best of our ability. Try not to push down on anything. Of course, we'll account for the thickness of the BB as well. Yeah, honestly, the 2.5 is about flush. Maybe that much extra, so what, 6.06 we'll say? And then as for the 40, that did go inside of the clay a little bit. 0.58. So we'll say 6.58 is how much that went in. .61, and again with the 0.25s. Oh, there we go. One came out a little lower. That one was 1.575. Okay, so we're going to measure them, starting with the 2.5 on depth. Okay, somewhere in the realm of 0.42. On this side, say 0.89. And I did shoot them on opposite sides, so this is now the 0.4 and this is the 2.5. This was the first 4 and this was the 2.5. I did this to account for any differences in density of the clay. Alright, so I'm going to try and make sense of this as quickly as possible. So, we're testing 0.25s at 1.6 joules and 0.4s at 1.6 joules. And we're trying to find the difference between them in the impulse. Okay, so that's the velocity they would need to be traveling at to be at 1.6 joules, and there's their momentum. And we have the depth of the impact on the clay, test 1, test 2. These are the 25s, these are the 40s. We can calculate the overall impact time by taking our penetration depth in meters and dividing it by the velocity in meters per second to end up with a time in seconds. So from there we found that, it took this amount of seconds for the 25s and this amount of seconds for the 40s to come to a stop from their initial impact. Assuming that the 40s hit at 89.5 meters a second and the 25s at 113.2. And then we needed to find the newtons of the impact. So, the 25, the first test, it impacted, or it had a force of 26.4 newtons, and then the 40, 24.3 newtons. But this is where we get into impulse. So for impulse, you need force in newtons times time in seconds. So these were the results right here. And you can see the 25s and the 40s is, a small number, long number. It's in Newton seconds. But this is the calculated difference of impulse between the 25 and the 0.4 for test 1 and 2. So for test 1, the 0.4 had an impulse of 23.39% higher than the 2.5. And for test 2, it again had an impulse 23.39% higher than the 2.5. Now, interestingly, when you look at momentum, it actually works out to be that the momentum of these are, the momentum of the 0.4 is 23.4% more. So I would take a guess and say it's safe to say that if you found the momentum of the BB and you calculate the difference between them, you can basically assume that's also the difference in impulse. So, 23.4 sounds like a lot. We'll get into that. Going off of the idea that momentum can give us a good idea of impulse. A 32 at 1.6 joules versus a 25, the 32 has a 12.27% higher impulse than the 2.5, and the 36 an 18.15% higher momentum, but effectively impulse than the 2.5. So, do they hit harder? Yes, they do. Will it put people, quote-unquote, into shock? No, not at all. I highly doubt that. And in terms of injuries, airsoft is a dangerous sport. It's a combat sport. Speaking for myself, I've been hit from guns that are shooting around 1 joule with 25s and been, bleeding from my hand, or I've been hitting the bridge of the nose and started bleeding. I think really it is up to the player to cover up sensitive areas if they don't want to be hit in those areas. And I do not see heavy BBs going away anytime soon. The performance of them is far superior to light BBs. And I don't see our energy limits getting lowered anytime soon either. We play at 1.86 with no MED, and it really has not been an issue. It hurts, sure, but that's part of the game. You signed up to be shot at and shoot at other people. What did you expect? Anyways, that concludes my test and math crap for this. Yeah, that was a big old waste of 3 hours. Thanks.